Hello again, friends, and welcome to another one of my loose water media painting series. And today we're going to be doing a seascape. I am using one of these sketches I did a few weeks ago down at Cape Point, which was in watercolor with a bit of charcoal. And I am working from this plein air sketch, so not a photograph. So I prefer to work from my own sketches. The paper I'll be using is Fabriano 250 gram, and I've decided to use Golden Fluid Acrylics today just to see how they work as opposed to watercolors. Also some of the high flow Golden Acrylic paints, and then finishing off with a charcoal pencil. So let's see how it goes. So the golden paint is quite thick. It's like a creamy consistency, and it takes quite a bit of water to thin it down. So I'm using a green gold and then the Payne's grey with some turquoise phthalo, and the high flow acrylic is a teal, which is almost like a type of turquoisey color. So I've wet the page thoroughly with water, dropped on some quinacridone gold first, a bit of burnt sienna, and then come in with this lovely turquoise teal color, a little bit of the turquoise phthalo, and then the Payne's grey at the top. It reacts really lovely with the water. This fluid acrylic seems to spread all over the place, so you don't have that much control. I've added a tiny bit of white there now just to spread out the teal and make, as you can see, the paint is quite thick. So just to blend in those blobs that I had there. But I like the way it just spreads across the paper. It covers the surface pretty quickly, and we'll just see where this goes. So I'm adding a bit of the landscape in the back. You can see the Payne's grey line of the sea line shining through the bit of landscape that I've painted there on the right, but that's not going to matter. At the end it'll just look like it's part of the actual hill in the background. So this was looking back towards Komiki and the Hout Bay area of the Cape Peninsula. And I have used a lot of my flat brush, and along with that synthetic sort of round pointy brush. I've decided to rather use the synthetic brushes with the acrylics because I didn't want to damage my mop brushes, which are squirrel or my sable brushes, with the acrylic. Although I washed them thoroughly afterwards, I was a bit reluctant to use them for that. I've just added a bit of the Payne's grey to the burnt sienna to make the slightly darker colors, and I've used a touch of watercolor as well, just to get the slightly darker color that I had in my palette. My splattering, of course, I love the splattering. I've waited for it to dry just a little bit, and then come in with a white bit of splattering with a toothbrush. And that here again is the original plein air painting, very fast and loose that I did, and just to remind you of what we're working towards. The charcoal pencils that I've used are what you see on the screen at the moment, and we are going to be starting to add that to our dry watercolor painting. I love adding this charcoal, either the charcoal or even a water-soluble black pen. I quite often use a calligraphy pen, but this just gives a really nice texture. You can define now everything so it all makes sense and basically brings the whole painting together. So just adding in some details of rocks. Don't worry about having to oh, you know, the rock's got to be exactly right, and here's the shadowing and this and that. This is a very loose type of painting. It's the idea of rocks, a little bit of light, a little bit of dark, some medium colors, but the eye knows that they're rocks on the beach. So you don't have to show every single rock and every pebble that that is there in front of you. Also, really defining the shape of the mountains, adding the birds in the background, and feeling that I need to add a little bit more stronger color here and there with the charcoal pencil. And the white is also a golden product from Golden Acrylic. And because I found coming straight out of the tube, I found it a little bit too thick. So I've put it in my own little squeezy bottle, and I've added water to it and shook it around, and it actually, with the cap on, it keeps for months and months. It's just a nice thinner consistency that is great for little squiggles and dots and things like a bit of the white on the waves. A little bit of more of texture here and there, trying to bring it forward a little bit more and create a type of distance in the background with slightly darker in the background, just to give some of that color perspective. And just going back and forth, working on the whole painting all the time. You will see I don't ever stick to just one section. I'll go back and forth and see where it needs a little bit more work. And quick and easy. So try this yourself at home, and here's the end result. Have fun, try different things you have at home, different paints, and just have a good time. Thank you for watching.